Check, check, check. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Check.
Can you hear us okay? We are live, coming back at you after hiatus of the flu. Gosh, man, that shit sucks. Be sure to just, take vitamin C, take care of yourself, and stay away from people. People are gross.
Yes.
But I'm going to check some lights real quick, and we can jump right into this thing. Sorry if we sound a little tiny bit gross or if we cough at all, because we're still going through it, but we're here for you. We're here for you.
It's true. Welcome, everybody. We're here on Championship Saturday because, of course, we had to come back on Championship Saturday. Duh. And, man, do we have a lot to talk about. You guys know, if you're regulars of the show, I am super fucking pumped because Iger is back. Yes, we're going to talk all about that. There was a ton of new trailers that dropped for everything. Netflix dropped some, Paramount dropped some, Disney dropped some, whole bunch of new stuff we're going to be talking about. Black Panther still at the top of the box office. Everybody else didn't do as well as they thought, so we're going to be talking about that. And with Black Panther, Wakanda Forever still reigning at the top, number one country, or all across the country and all across the world, it's number one movie. Of course, we have our super awesome guest, Mabel Cadena, who is Namora herself in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. You guys are going to love that, man. So much cool stuff this week.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. But, of course, a little behind the scenes of the podcast. That's what we're here for.
Yes.
Man, oh, man. We're super excited, though. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of stuff going on and a lot of stuff to deep dive and talk about. So, boy, oh, boy. Hope you guys are ready. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend, and we can make it even crazier for you, even crazier.
Yes.
But make sure do not disturb. We'll do the promo first, and then we will head into the show and tease everything, and have a little fun.
Woo!
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. All right. What's up, everybody? If you're watching this video right now, that means episode 213 of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm is available right now on all podcast platforms and YouTube.
Yes, and we have a huge guest interview for y'all. Mabel Cadena from Black Panther Wakanda Forever. It's such an amazing interview. You guys are going to absolutely love it. And we dive deep into Iger's return to Disney. What does it mean for Marvel? What does it mean for Star Wars? What does it mean for everybody? We're going to tell you, man. So much great stuff.
So much goodness. We love it. We love it. But be sure to like and subscribe on all podcast platforms and YouTube.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I'm so freaking excited because the biggest movie out in the country, in the world right now, is the one and only Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And our guest this week is from that exact film.
Yes.
That's right. We have another Marvel family member coming on, Mabel Cadena. Oh my goodness, I'm so super excited, man, because when going through researching, talking to her and everything like that, she did so much preparation for this film. It's absolutely insane. Learned English and Mayan specifically for this film.
Yeah, and learned different how to swim underwater and breathing techniques to make it look like she's lived her whole life underwater. Combat training. It was like 2 years of this extensive training to be in this movie, man. Yeah. It was unreal.
I'm super excited for everybody to hear it. It's so inspiring, and all the up-and-comers are definitely going to love it.
Oh, yeah.
But that's later on the show. Now, let's get a little crazy. What's up, everybody? Episode 213 of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm is here, and we're super excited about it. You guys know your host with the most, myself, J-Lo Fantastic, and the one and only Mal.
What's up?
Before we tease the rest of the show, though, be sure to leave us a rating on the podcast, comment below wherever you're listening, and tell us what you think about this show. Leaving a rating actually helps the podcast get seen by more people who enjoy entertainment news or people who are breaking into the entertainment industry.
Facts.
Because we want to give you the knowledge to be in the room where it happens, have that conversation, and present yourself properly. Man, oh man, it's going to be a great show, though, because like we teased a little bit earlier, we got Mabel Cadena coming on the show from Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and we're going to be talking about Bob Iger's return as CEO. We were not expecting it, and we'll be talking about our opinions on that and so much other things. James Gunn being the head of the DCU, and what does that mean for all of the other properties? We've had our speculations, but now we're going to deep dive into it and all of these other things. Top Gun Maverick is coming back to the theaters, which what? Why? But it's going to be crazy, guys. We're super excited. But before we get started, be sure to head over to our website, www.crazyatmedia.com, where you start shopping the latest and greatest gear. Now, I know it is the holiday season, and you are struggling with gift ideas for basically everyone in your family, especially those that you don't really see as often. Well, we have the perfect gifts for you. Head over to our website, www.crazyatmedia.com, and you can see all of the options that we will offer. Man, oh man, we have shirts, we have hats, we have teddy bears, we have phone cases, we have tumblers, we have coffee mugs, we have anything and everything that you need this upcoming holiday season. So be sure to follow us at Crazy Ant Media and at ItCap Podcast as well, so that you will know when the promo deals will happen, so that you can get a little bang for your buck this holiday season.
Yes.
But man, oh man, of course, we're starting with Disney, as we do always. As we begin, the biggest news in Hollywood happened while we were on hiatus. Now, in that move that may caught the industry off guard, some of us were predicting it, but we didn't really think it would actually happen. And we're talking about it, guys. Bob Iger is back, and he's replacing the bad Bob. Bad Bob is gone. Chapek as Disney CEO. An interesting turn of events for the world's largest media company that has been in turmoil since Iger stepped down as CEO in February of 2020. There had been rumblings of a shakeup in the C-suite, but the prospect of Iger returning to CEO still seemed very far-fetched. Now, Iger was put out of power as CEO for a little under 3 years, while Iger has returned as in his old role. The board also made it clear that his new term will be a temporary one. Now, Iger has agreed to serve as Disney's CEO for 2 years with a mandate from the board to set the strategic direction with a renewed growth, and to work closely with the board to develop a successor to lead the company in the completion of his term. Now, Disney stock has jumped in response to Iger's stunning reinstatement and is currently sitting at $99 per share. And we've talked to you a little bit about how it dropped below $100, and that was the first time in so many years that had happened. But man, oh man, it is quite pleasing to wake up and see that news.
Oh yeah. I mean, like we've been talking about it for months. We felt this was the right move. We felt it was a PR stunt when the board, renewed his contract, Chapek's contract. We just thought that was just saving face while they were trying to figure out what they were going to do. But what we didn't know is, would Iger say yes? That was the big thing. Everybody wanted him back. Everybody kind of figured that was the move, but would he want to? Well, apparently he did want to. So we're super fucking pumped about that. And I like that he's going to be responsible for the succession plan now of making sure it's the right person to take over. And on the record right now, I posted on social media, but I'm going to say it here on the show, Dana Walden. I honestly believe that is going to be the successor, and she will become the first woman in the 100+ year history of the Walt Disney Company to become the CEO. So we'll see. We'll see if we're right. We'll see if that's going to happen, but that's my prediction. And yeah, Iger didn't waste any time putting his mark back on the company either. Soon after he was announced as CEO, he reorganized Disney's content distribution structure and told everybody that Kareem Daniel, Chapek's right-hand man, the chairman of the company's media and entertainment distribution unit, well, he's out. He left Disney right away. He then held a town hall style meeting with Disney employees and spoke about how happy he was to be back, even referencing the song "What Did I Miss" from the hit Broadway show, of course, Hamilton, and then joked, which I thought was fucking epic, that Chapek was no longer in the room where it happens. So I fucking love that. He then assured employees that he is focusing on bringing Disney back to where it once was. Iger told employees that the Disney hiring freeze would remain in place for now, saying it is the wise thing to do to keep the freeze in place given the challenges facing the company. He also mentioned that the duration of the hiring halt will be a factor as he addresses Disney's overall cost structure. He also addressed the company's streaming services. He said that they would no longer be chasing subscribers with aggressive marketing and aggressive spend on content. Instead, the company will start chasing profitability by taking a hard look at the cost structure across its businesses. But Iger said the main focus for the company has to be creativity, which the returning CEO stated was his number one priority, saying, quote, "A number of you who worked with me know I'm obsessed with that." Iger said Disney's creative muscle, he's obsessed with it for that reason, because it's what he feels drives the company. And I think we've all talked about it over the last 3 years of the Chapek's fucking chaos. Creativity was gone. Everybody was talking about how Marvel's Phase 4 didn't seem right, and we weren't getting any new Star Wars movies, and there were misses at the box office with Lightyear, and it's like they desperately need to put the focus back on creativity.
Yeah, completely agree. With everything happening, he's been quote unquote, he retired basically like 3 times and then has come back.
Yeah.
I mean, we love Iger, don't get me wrong, but the only blemish I feel like that he has in his career is finding that right successor. That is the only thing, because everything else has been damn near spot on, perfect for the board members, for stock market, for everything like that. But I mean, the cherry on top will be finding that right successor. And I don't necessarily think that 2 years is going to be enough time. I bet he stays on for 3. So that's going to be very interesting. But that also goes back to, does he really want to leave? I think he really wants to die as Disney CEO. I'm not gonna lie, I love it, and I'd be here for it. But I think he's just that type of guy. He's so engulfed in the company like that. But I think the only thing holding him back is finding that perfect succession. So I think we'll see what happens and how that'll move forward.
Well, and I agree with you. I think he doesn't ever want to leave Disney. I just feel like he's been there his entire life practically, and that's just his home, and he cares that much about it. What I'd like to see if he does decide not to want to go anywhere is pick the CEO, put the person in place, and then become chairman again. Become
Yeah.
chairman of the board, get out of the way, and let your CEO that you handpick do their job.
Mhm.
That's why I think it's going to be Walden, because they've got a tight relationship and he likes Walden. The company likes Walden because Chapek installed her, right now, and everybody was okay with it. So I feel like that's the right move. But if he is going to stay, I feel like he's got to get out of her way, though, if
Yeah.
that is the successor.
Yeah. There was another name that was in the rumor mill that was he used to run the television side of Pierce or Price or
Yeah.
He is also in the rumor mill, but also Bob Chapek let him go. So if Bob Iger brings him back, I feel like there's definitely going to be that who's going to be the best for the company
Yeah.
type of situation. But it's so exciting, though. We are very happy. But yeah, I definitely think it's going to be more than 2 years, to be honest.
Now, if we can just get fucking rid of Zasloff.
Exactly.
We got rid of Chapek. Now let's just fucking get rid of Zasloff and everything will be back to normal.
Exactly. Well, Disney and Marvel's Black Panther Wakanda Forever towered over the box office charts for the 3rd weekend in a row, and it's expected to hold on to the top spot again this weekend with 17 to 19 million. The superhero sequel brought in 45.9 million over a traditional weekend and 64 million over the 5-day Thanksgiving frame, boosting the domestic tally to $367 million. Now, after 3 weeks of release, it's already the 5th highest grossing movie of the year in North America. Soon, it'll be one of the 3 films in 2022 to cross $400 million at the domestic box office. Globally, Wakanda Forever has amassed a mighty $675 million, which is absolutely insane. I know a lot of people are like, but what about Top Gun Maverick? I mean, I don't think Top Gun Maverick will break 10 million. I mean, this weekend. So I definitely think this is going to stay on top.
Yeah. And I think, though, the overall, because Top Gun Maverick's the biggest of the year so far. And I think they saw Black Panther coming up its ass and they're like, put it back out. Let's grab a couple more million, to kind of keep keep that. I think that's why. We'll talk about that later, though. It wasn't all good for Disney, though, even though they did hold the 2 top spots at the box office over the holiday weekend. Strange World failed to entice family audiences, collapsing in its debut with just 11.9 million from 4,174 North American theaters over the weekend, and just 18.6 million over the 5-day holiday frame. Now, heading into the weekend, the film was expected to earn between $30 and $40 million during that weekend. Strange World didn't make up any ground at the international box office either, where it earned just 9.2 million from 43 markets for a global start of only $27.8 million. Now, the $180 million budgeted Strange World, poised to be another huge money loser for Disney, expected to lose more than $100 million by the time of its end of its theatrical run. Ouch.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chapek.
Yeah.
Nice way to send him out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, this is the guy who, maybe we should not focus on animation. Like,
right.
Bitch, this whole thing was started on
Yeah.
animation. Let's get out of here. Marvel unveiled its first trailer of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And if you're not crying by the end of it, what's wrong with you? Showcasing the final installment in James Gunn's franchise, the film will explore Rocket Raccoon's, aka Bradley Cooper's, the actor's origins, and the return of Zoe Saldana's Gamora in the trailer. Viewers finally got to see a grand entrance for the all-gold super being human Adam Warlock.
Yes.
The scene of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is played by MCU newcomer Will Poulter, who was or has previously starred in The Maze Runner, Midsummer, Dope Sick. In the comics, Warlock is an all-powerful artificial being created to destroy the Guardians of the Galaxy. However, it appears that Chukori character, the High Evolutionary, will be the main villain, an ultra-intelligent being who created Rocket.
Yeah.
Now, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will hit theaters May 5th of 2023.
Yeah, look, that trailer makes it sure look like we're going to see the demise of Rocket.
Yeah.
That's
yeah, and like we were talking about off air, I mean, James Gunn just doesn't want anybody else to do him.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's his favorite character. He said it time and time again, and now that he's jumped ship to DC, he's like, that's it, fucking killing Rocket. It's fine. It's fine. We're all going to cry. It's great. Hey, Disney also revealed the first trailer for Indiana Jones, and it's got an official name now, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which is the official title for the 5th installment of the whip-cracking adventure franchise. Now, on top of that, the trailer showcases a de-aged Harrison Ford as Indy back in the glory days of the archaeology and adventures. It's awesome. I mean, it's scary how much this technology works. It's freaking terrifying. The film is scheduled for release on June 30th, 2023. Now, Indy's latest outing is set in the 1960s, as we've told you, during the space race between the U.S. and Soviet Russia. Now, unlike previous films, George Lucas did not write the story for Indiana Jones 5, and Steven Spielberg is not the director. Instead, both of those roles will be filled by James Mangold, who, as you guys know, is known for films like Logan, Ford vs. Ferrari, 3:10 to Yuma, and more. Spielberg is still attached as an executive producer, and Lucas, the original creator of the film franchise, is credited with some involvement in the writer's room. I'm okay with this, though. James Mangold's a brilliant filmmaker. You look at Logan, that should tell you everything you need to know. It's in good hands, and the trailer was awesome. Check out the trailer. It was pretty fucking funny.
For sure. The Mandalorian officially has set a season 3 premiere date.
Yes.
The 3rd season of the Star Wars series will debut on Disney Plus March 1st.
Oh.
Now, the 3rd season will take place following the events of the Book of Boba Fett, in which the Mandalorian-led Din Djarin, who's played by Pedro Pascal, was last seen reuniting with Grogu in the miniseries. The two then left Tatooine, with Mando heading to the planet Mandalore to restore his honor and become a Mandalorian again.
Yes.
And the last teaser released in September, Mando faces off against several armed warriors in their homeworld. So, I mean, basically a redemption story, trying to get him back to, honor.
Yes.
So it's going to be good. I'm really excited about
Who's
it.
going to say no to Grogu?
Exactly.
I mean, come on. Tell Me Lies has apparently been renewed for season 2 at Hulu. The series, based on the Carola Lovering novel of the same name, debuted its first season on the streaming service back in September on the 7th. The season finale just recently aired October 26th. So I guess this one was pretty popular. It always looks intriguing when I'm pissing by it, but I haven't checked it out yet. So we'll see.
For sure. It for sure sounded like you said pissing by it. But
No, no,
yeah.
passing by it.
Passing
Passing
by
by.
it. FX has placed a pilot order for The Trenches, an
Oh.
animated series from Drew Goddard.
Yes.
Now, according to the network, a half-hour comedy will follow a modern family of monster hunters. Now, Goddard, who the creator and executive producer behind Netflix's Daredevil, wrote the pilot and will serve as executive producer alongside Sarah Esberg for textiles. The project is being produced by 20th Animation. Goddard is currently under an overall deal with ABC Signature. Now, Floyd County Productions will provide animation services for the pilots.
Oh.
So, animation is so big, so it makes sense.
It is, and Goddard's awesome. So, I mean, anybody who's watched Daredevil on Netflix knows he's
all right. Love
pretty
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can everybody still hear me? Can everybody?
I think so. I think so.
All right. Good stuff. Live. We love live. Fox. Let's jump over to Fox. Fox Entertainment has entered into a non-exclusive broadcast direct development deal with writer, producer, and director McGee. Under the deal, McGee and his Wonderland Sound and Vision production company will develop and produce drama series for Fox. Now, all series developed under the deal will be fully owned and distributed by Fox. McGee has a long history with the network, going back to his days as an executive producer on the network's hit drama series, The OC. He also directed multiple episodes of Fox's series adaptation of Lethal Weapons film franchise and served as an executive producer. In addition, he co-created and directed the pilot for Fox series Fastlane. So he's you keep people that do well for you in the house. So that makes sense.
Exactly. Well, heading over to Warner Brothers Discovery, like we were teasing about a little bit earlier, James Gunn, the new co-chairman and co-CEO of DC Studios, alongside Peter Safran, confirmed that the DC universe under his watch will be connected across film, television, animation, and video games. But that doesn't mean Gunn and Safran are putting a ban on standalone projects that exist outside of a larger, interconnected DCU. Now, in recent years, the animated series Harley Quinn and films such as Joaquin Phoenix starring Joker, Robert Pattinson starring Batman have told you DC stories separate from the main DC Universe timeline. But Gunn also confirmed that he is planning to give more DC characters their own television series in order to build out the DC universe.
Well,
So,
there you go.
I mean, a lot of people are talking about, is this going to be connected? Kind of, not really.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I mean, he kind of hinted at, the way I took it from the interview is that those three, Harley Quinn, Pattinson's Batman and Joker, that's it.
Yeah.
They're the only things moving forward that are going to stay outside of it. Probably won't go past the second Joker, in my opinion. So it's going to be Harley Quinn and Batman, and
Yeah.
But anyway, even with all that news, shakeups are continuing over at Warner Brothers in regards to DC branded content. According to Channing Dunging, the head of Warner Brothers TV Group, Warner Brothers Television Studios is in the process of closing a major animation deal with Amazon for DC content, possibly introducing some animated DC content onto Prime Video. She said, quote, "The studio is exploring animated IP on different platforms. This includes HBO Max, which is owned by Warner Brothers Discovery. With animation, we used to be about staying in-house, but now we are doing it on different platforms. HBO Max is the first stop, but we are in the process of closing a big deal with Amazon featuring DC branded content in animation." Dungy didn't elaborate further on the deal between the two mega companies. So I don't know if that's going to be new animated shows that they're doing, or if they're going to pluck some animated shows and put them over there. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a little bit last time when the last show before we went on our little flu hiatus. But yeah, it's very interesting. This is definitely a money grab, I feel like, because they need financial benefits to help them build back up the studio. And I think this is just part of it, especially in the animation game. They're just trying to figure out what they can do best. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very freaking interesting.
It is.
Well, the Dune prequel series at HBO Max has added Mark Strong, Jade Anoka, and Chris Mason to its cast. Strong will play Emperor Jveko Korono, described as a man from the great line of the wartime emperors who is called upon to govern the Imperium and manage the fragile peace. Ukana will play Sister Theodosia, said to be a talented and ambitious acolyte and at the sisterhood who harbors a dangerous secret about her past. Mason will appear as Korean Altries, described as a sword master to the great house of whose ambition to live up to his family name is disrupted when he forms an unexpected connection to a member of the royal family. Currently titled Dune: The Sisterhood, the series is set around 10,000 years before the events of Dune. Sounds like House of the Dragon. And is based on the novel Sisterhood of Dune by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson. Per the official logline, the show follows the Harkin sisters, Emily Watson and Shirley Henderson, as they combat forces that threaten the future of humankind and establish the fabled sect known as the Bean Grizzard. It is currently in production at the moment, so we will have more news when it comes out. So, very interesting. I know a lot of people are in need of their Dune fix.
Sure. All right. Jumping over to Paramount. Apparently, you can't keep Maverick down. You can't keep him grounded. He's got to be in the air at all times. Top Gun Maverick has flown back into the theaters in time for the holidays. Paramount re-released the blockbuster sequel on the big screen, including select premium large formats and IMAX yesterday, and apparently it plans to keep running it through December 15th. Now, the film, which is already readily available to watch on home entertainment, lands on Paramount Plus for free on December 22nd, which would explain why it's going to exit the theaters again by the 15th. I guess that makes sense.
It for sure sounds like either Tom Cruise wants a money grab or like Paramount is trying to capitalize on college students coming home and just kids being out of school and watching some stuff with the fam. So, I mean, it is a good family film.
It is.
Go see it if you haven't. Paramount Pictures has released the first trailer for Transformers Rise of the Beast. The 7th installment of the Hasbro film franchise is set to release June 9th of 2023. The latest movie introduces the animal-themed Maximals, Pettercons, and Terracons. Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback star in the upcoming action film with director Stephen Capel Jr., who has previously directed Creed 2. Ramos plays Noah, an ex-military electronics expert who lives and supports his family in Brooklyn, while Fishback plays Elena, an artifacts researcher at the museum. Peter Cullen, who has lent his voice to the Autobots leader Optimus Prime throughout the franchise's run, will reprise his role as the film centers on Optimus in the 1990s. Now, Brooklyn is inspired by the franchise's Beast Wars storyline. Now, Rise of the Beast serves as the first of the planned trilogy with 2 more sequels in early development. So, I know a lot of people are wondering what would that standalone Bumblebee one, but it doesn't seem like they're going to do anything with that.
Yeah, except that there's been, I guess, I think, because Bumblebee looks exactly the same. Obviously, the Bumblebee standalone was set in the 80s and did have some connections to the original trilogy, right? But it was supposed to be like a prequel. Well, this one, if you watch the trailer really carefully, does look like it also has some connections to Bumblebee. So I think they're all connected somehow. And from the rumors is that this is going to be like these guys they have been on Earth this whole time, but they're actually from an alternate timeline and they've come back into this timeline. So I think the goal is to try to do maybe an end game type thing where they're going to merge the timelines and create one solid timeline and somehow link all the original films with Bumblebee with this one and then move forward, which if that is the case, great. I think that's the right move, but boy, it sounds fucking confusing as shit.
It does.
I mean, so we'll see. We'll find out. I have no idea, but Paramount Plus also released the first trailer for 1923, its upcoming spin-off series of the Yellowstone, of course. The limited series features a new generation of the Dutton family, who are no less plagued by violence. Helen Mirren and Harrison Ford star as husband and wife Jacob and Cara Dutton, respectively. Now set on the expansive rural terrain of Montana, 1923 is set over the decades before the birth of Yellowstone protagonist John Dutton, of course played by Kevin Costner, and 40 years after the events of 1883, the first Yellowstone prequel series. 1923 will consist of 2 seasons with 8 episodes apiece. The series will premiere on December 18th, so like right around the corner in the US and Canada, on Paramount Plus. The pilot will also air on Paramount Network the same day as part of a simulcast event, followed by a debut of a new episode from Yellowstone Season 5. So that makes sense. I mean, obviously.
Exactly. And I mean, speaking of the Yellowstone prequel, it has also added 3 actors in new recurring roles. Peter Stormare and Tim DeKay and Amelia Rico have set to appear in the epic Western series. Stormare from Fargo and The Big Lebowski will play Aluka, described as a weathered and wise sailor, tamed from the decades on the ocean. His accent sent a soup of thousand dialects.
Okay.
Decay from Oppenheimer and White Collar will play Bob Stratford, said to be a Montana rancher who's anticipating an intimate wedding between his daughter and one of the Duttons.
Oh.
Now, Rico from Dark Winds and the original Yellowstone, that's funny, will play, Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Asachi?
Asachi,
There you go.
a crow woman hoping to reunite with her family. So there it is, guys. There it is. A lot of exciting stuff. The Sheridan world is ever expanding.
Yes, and continuing to just put out seasons, apparently. Tulsa King has also been renewed for season 2 at Paramount Plus. The renewal comes after the series debuted on the streaming service on November 13th. On November 20th, the premiere episode aired on Paramount Network following a new episode of Yellowstone. In that airing, the series drew 3.7 million viewers, making it the best new linear cable premiere of 2022 so far. Now, this one kind of caught me off guard because everybody has been hearing all the rumors. Sly wasn't so sure he wanted to come back for season 2 because he says, television's tough.
Yeah.
So this is odd. I don't know. He does have some money involved in it. His production company is a producer on the project. So no doubt seeing the ratings and seeing the money pop, I mean, that'll make you come back. But I don't know. It is picking up, though. I will say episode to episode, Sly seems more comfortable. The story is getting more put together. And so I think it's got legs. I think it'll do pretty well.
Yeah, very interesting. Now, heading over to NBC Universal, Lopez versus Lopez has been given a full series order at NBC.
Oh.
The multi-camera comedy starring George Lopez and his real-life daughter, Mayan Lopez, will run for 22 episodes in its first season. Per the NBC, the pilot episodes of the series has risen to a 1.6 rating in adults 18 to 49 and has drawn 7.6 million viewers across all platforms since originally airing on NBC on November 4th. 3 episodes have aired to date, and with new episodes set to air on December 2nd. I'm sure they were just trying to figure everything out. NBC has also says the series has the strongest English dominant Hispanic index among the major 4 broadcast networks. I watched the pilot and it was pretty funny, and they did an homage to, the George Lopez show.
Yeah.
But I think it was pretty funny. So it's going to be, very interesting. It's basically the same character with a grown up daughter trying to figure out nowadays life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's good. So
yeah, I mean, that's awesome. I'm always confused by how they judge success, because 7.6 million viewers was about the same amount of viewers that Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist and Council of Dads was drawing, and they considered both of those not worthy for renewal. So I don't know. I don't get the gauge of what they do. But
yeah, well, I mean, this half-hour comedy, I bet, is cheaper than both of those shows
for sure.
Location wise, but yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But I love George Lopez, so I'm happy about it. Hey, Steve Martin and Martin Short are set to co-host Saturday Night Live in December, with Elvis star Austin Butler also set to make his hosting debut on the NBC sketch comedy series. Now, Martin and Short will host on December 10th with musical guest Brandy Carlisle. Butler will host on December 17th, excuse me, with musical guest Yeah Yeah Yeahs. It was previously announced that Kiki Palmer would host the show on December 3rd with musical guest Za. Now, both Martin and Short have long histories with SNL, of course. Martin has hosted the show 15 times in his career and has appeared in numerous guest roles. Short was, of course, a cast member during the show's 10th season and has hosted the show 3 times to date himself. So I love that. I love that they're doing it together. That's going to be fucking hysterical.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I mean, I feel like it's gonna be what's his face's last show. With only murders in the building, I feel like Steve Martin. After that, he's gonna retire.
Mm.
I know. I've
Oh,
heard rumblings about it. So we'll see. He's up
yeah,
there though. He's up there.
he is.
Sony Legendary Entertainment, the production company behind Dune and Godzilla vs. Kong, has cut ties with Warner Brothers and entered a multi-year worldwide film distribution deal with Sony Pictures. Under the new agreement, Sony will market and distribute Legendary's upcoming theatrical motion picture titles. However, select existing projects at Legendary are exempt from this pact, obviously, if things are already in motion. Now, meaning Warner Brothers Pictures is still backing Dune Part 2. The sequel to 2021 sci-fi adaptation of Dune is currently in production and slated for release of November 3rd of 2023. Now, in a press release, Sony Pictures and Legendary emphasized that the companies are aligned in their ongoing commitment to theatrical distribution as a driver for other downstream windows and theatrical window long-term value for films.
Yeah, whoosh, that was throwing Warner Brothers under the bus, no doubt. That was a direct dig
Yeah.
because remember their big fallout and why they left Warner Brothers is because of that whole fiasco of putting everything on streaming instead of theatrical.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, you knew they were going somewhere. Now we know where. Sony. Ang Lee, the Oscar-winning director of Life of Pi and Brokeback Mountain, is set to direct a film about Chinese-American martial arts legend Bruce Lee. Ang Lee's son, Mason Lee, is attached to star in the film, which is in development at Sony's 3000 Pictures. Now, Dan Futterman, who wrote Capote and Foxcatcher, is adapting the script. Bruce Lee is a longtime passion project for Ang and a deeply emotional story depicting the triumphs and conflicts of one of the foremost real-life action heroes of our time. Yeah, he's been mentioning this for decades that he wanted to make it, so it's good to finally see it going forward.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. A reimagining of the classic 1969 counterculture film Easy Rider is in early development. A construum of skate holders and producers, including Maurice Fides, Kodiak Pictures, Defiant Studios, Eric B. Feichman, and Jean Bollet Group, own the adaptation rights to the project. Originally released for or by Columbia Pictures, the original Easy Rider is created with showcasing a changing socio-political landscape in America, particularly through the lens of the restless and progressive youth. Now, Dennis Hopper, Peter Fonda, and Terry Southern wrote the drug-landed motorcycle epic, which Hopper directed and in which he and Fonda starred in. Now, the film is also known for giving an early boost to the one and only Jack Nicholson. Producers behind the reboot are currently in search of bold writers and or directors to update the project for modern times. With the same fringe spirit, filmmakers used the Michael B. Jordan's Creed and its relationship with Rocky as a comp to their ambitions of this new, I don't want to say improved, Easy Rider. This is one that you just can't. You can't. I mean,
you shouldn't even attempt it. You shouldn't
No.
even touch it. And what does that mean? Like, are they going to try to say like Peter Fonda's characters in them, they existed and this is like a current, generation that's paying homage to that? Or is it just like a full out reboot? I don't know. Either way, it's a fucking cinematic classic and you should never fucking touch it. It's like if you were going to try to redo the fucking Godfather. You just don't touch some movies.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like we're in a point in time in cinema where it's awesome to be a comic book geek and pop culture. It's amazing, but we're also in a time where like reboots are happening so often and to all of these historical movies that put their imprint on the industry that shouldn't even be touched. There's no reason. They are film lessons in themselves, and to try to recreate that or redo it, I feel like is just disrespectful, to be honest. So it's
Yeah.
going to be very interesting to see if this thing gets any legs and keeps going, or hopefully a lot of executives in the entertainment industry are like us and we're like, no, you're not going to fucking do that. So
Yeah, I
we'll
mean,
see.
it's disappointing, man. All right, jumping over to Lionsgate, prepare to see another familiar face in Ballerina, the spinoff set in Lionsgate's John Wick universe. Lance Reddick is reprising his role as Sharon, a concierge at the pivotal Continental Hotel in the upcoming film. Ballerina, of course, as we've told you, stars Ana de Armas as a young female assassin who seeks revenge against those who killed her family. Now, Len Weissman is directing the movie from a script by Shay Hatton. It's currently in production. Now, Reddick, who appeared in the franchise's first 3 installments, isn't the only John Wick veteran who's been cast in the spin-off story. Keanu Reeves is expected to make an appearance as John Wick, while Angelica Houston is set to reprise her role from John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, as the director. So yeah, I like they're keeping it consistent. They're clearly building out that universe. And how do you do that? You keep it, familiar faces within the universe until you get it spun off, right?
Highly underrated franchise. You need to watch the
I do.
first one because, like, the first one, they're all great, but the first one is so special because he barely has any lines of
Yeah.
dialogue and is just so fucking badass. But yeah, great franchise. Great franchise. Amazon/MGM, Mark Burnett has formally resigned from his top leadership role, resigned from his top leadership role at MGM. That move comes 10 months after Amazon closed the deal of its $8.5 billion acquisition of the studio. Burnett's departure from MGM fold is not a surprise, though. Now, the producer, known for enduring unscripted hits like Survivor, The Voice, Shark Tank, has not served as a conventional television producer during his 9 years with MGM and was not expected to stick around after the sale. Now, moreover, as a significantly equity holder in MGM, Burnett profited a handsome amount from this Amazon deal. In the 9 years since first sold his 1-3 media production banner to MGM, Burnett has ripped an estimated $900 million.
Mm.
Now, in a memo to MGM staffers, Burnett said he intended to pursue new ventures as a producer. So that's going to be very interesting since it's been nearly a decade since you've done anything like that. But, hopefully he'll be able to get back on his feet.
Yeah, he's got a track record. I'm sure he's going to come out with some more new shows that'll be huge hits. Just stay away from Trump, bro. Just stay away from Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
Because for anybody knows, he was behind that one too. Tyler Perry is taking his talents to Amazon Studios, apparently, entering into a 4-picture deal with the studio. Under the new pact, Perry will write, direct, and produce 4 new movies for release on Prime Video, which reaches more than 240 countries and territories worldwide. Now, among Perry's movies already currently available on the service are Daddy's Little Girls, Tyler Perry's Medea's Big Happy Family, 4 Colored Girls, Tyler Perry's Medea Christmas, and Tyler Perry's Single Moms Club. So obviously they're familiar with him. They're having success with his older movies on there. It only makes sense to bring him in and make new movies.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. Well, Amazon's hit, I mean, the biggest thing they're known for right now, The Boys, is bringing back one more familiar face for season 4 and adding 3 new ones, including key part for Huey Campbell's Jack Quaid, long lost mother, and yet another supernatural vet. The superhero drama will welcome the Staircase's Rosemary DeWitt in the new role, one that has been mentioned both by Huey and his father, Hugh Campbell Sr., aka Simon Pegg, in the previous seasons as the matriarch who left their family when Huey was a child. Pegg, who played Huey's dad, the Boys series premiere in 2019, the most recently reprised role last summer in season 3, will return once again for the upcoming season, which is currently shooting in Toronto, along with DeWitt's key part further in new additions for The Boys season 4. Cast include Rob Benedict, who played
Yes.
Chuck/God on Supernatural, and is the most recent line of Supernatural vets brought onto The Boys by showrunner Eric Kripke, who created the long-running CW network drama, if you didn't know, and Titans and Animal Kingdom actor Elliot Knight. The parts played by these two actors are being kept well under wraps right now, so it's going to be very interesting to see how everything unfolds. So a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. Season 2 of The Lord of the Rings of Power has added 7 actors in recurring roles also. Gabrielle Awukadiki, Yazine Zaitator, Ben Daniels, Amelia Kenworthy, Nia Towell, and Nicholas Woodson will all have joined the show in new roles, though exact character details are, of course, being kept under wraps. Now, in addition, Joseph Mawali is no longer going to play Orc leader Adar in season 2, with Sam Hazeldine from Peaky Blinders stepping into the role. The second season of the epic fantasy series is currently in production in the UK. And did you guys see, like, several members of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the films, have come out and really slammed this fucking show, saying not only do they not want to ever be a part of it, but they don't even watch it. So,
well, as a Lord of the Rings fan, I mean, you watched the first episode. Did you go on past that?
I did not. So there you go.
Was it just boring?
It was beautiful, but it didn't have it. It just didn't have the magic. It didn't have the story. It needed Peter Jackson. You should have kept Peter Jackson involved in it. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't capture what the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and even in some senses the Hobbit, captured. It just doesn't do it. So I bailed after the first episode.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Ryan Egold and Isaiah Mutafa have been cast in Amazon's upcoming series based on James Patterson's Alex Cross novels. The pair previously joined announced series led Aldous Hodge in the series, which is titled Cross. Amazon ordered the show series back in October, so they're just adding people along, man. That's very exciting.
Yes, jumping over to Netflix. Hello, Wisconsin! We're coming back, guys. Netflix has set January 19th for the premiere of That 90s Show, a follow-up to the hit sitcom That 70s Show. We also got a first look at some of the footage in a teaser trailer, which features the return of That 70s Show alums Deborah Jo Rupp and Kurtwood Smith as the beloved grandparents Kitty and Red, and a new group of teenage friends who are in the basement. At first, they're still like, the basement, what? But then, of course, they do what they all do in the basement. They get high, and they start figuring out what's so awesome about the basement and the Reds' home. So,
they're just hanging out down the street.
Yeah,
that's it. I mean, it's gonna be really good. It looks very it's got that Cobra Kai-esque, that Cobra Kai vibe.
It does.
In the sense to where it's so homage to the original thing that you're just like, oh, I'm so excited. So I think it's going to do really well for Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Prince Harry and the one and only Meghan Markle, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, are about to pull back the curtain on their love story and subsequent retreat from their life away as working royals. After months of mystery, distributor Netflix released a first look trailer at the highly anticipated doc series this week. The project promises an intimate account of the couple's courtship and unprecedented access to their tumultuous years as senior royals. And in a trailer which shares an array of romantic photos of the couple, but none of their two kids, Gerbis is heard asking, "Why did you want to make this documentary?" To which Harry responds in a voiceover, "No one knows what's happening behind closed doors." Harry and Meghan will premiere worldwide on Netflix. I think this is going to be just a big love story type of situation. At least that's what I hope so. And it doesn't have to be like everything drama related. But I think it's just going to be life as royals, and it shouldn't be bashing everyone else.
Yeah. I hope you're right. I hope it highlights why they're in love, why they want to be together and away from the royal family duties and everything, and doesn't turn into a bash fest of the royals. I hope it doesn't do that, because I don't think anybody wants to see that.
No,
they love Harry and Meghan. They want to see that love story, but they don't. I think everybody's tired of the bashing of the royals.
Well, and I feel like since the Queen died, no one's really giving a fuck about
no.
no one's really
No.
talking about the king or none of that bullshit. So I feel like all the excitement died with the queen.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
don't know.
I guess KC3 didn't catch on.
No.
That's I was hoping KC3 would catch on.
That should have been the Twitter handle. That
It should have been at KC3. It would have been if you're trying to make Chuck entertaining, KC3. Trust us. Hey, Bobby De Niro, you know we love him. Apparently, he's attached to star in the limited series 0 Day, currently in the works at Netflix, that hails from Eric Newman and Noah Oppenheim. Now, exact plot details are being kept under wraps, but sources say the show would be a political thriller in which Bobby would play a former U.S. president. Should the series move forward, it would mark the first regular television role of De Niro's career, which, I mean, that guy's a hardcore film guy. I mean, he's never done, but that'd be awesome.
I feel like it is the day and age where all of these hardcore film actors are coming to television, though.
Yeah. Now, will he be like Sly? Television's tough, man.
I mean, he's old, so I mean, that'd be like Harrison Ford stepping into a TV role. So.
I mean, well, he did 1923.
Yeah,
he wasn't complaining.
Yeah,
like,
yet he hasn't crashed a plane or a horse. So
and they were limited. His was only 8 episodes, and then 8 episodes broke up. So yeah, I don't know. But do you think Bobby's probably too tough? He's like, hey, let's see you. I don't think he'd complain.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think he would either. And if he was, he'd be like complaining to himself.
That's
like,
right.
He's very
quiet.
Right. Oh, well, Lily Collins is back in Paris with Emily, of course. Netflix has released a full trailer of the 3rd season of Emily in Paris, of course, their hit comedy series. And it finds Emily at a crossroads, choosing between lovers and professional opportunities. Can she juggle all of this at once? Oh, concierge. Now, Emily, she will have to make up her mind about how she wants her French future to unfurl. Now, choosing between 2 different pathways, all 10 episodes of the new season will debut on Netflix just in time for Christmas, December 21st. So that's a little...
I'm so pumped. This is a guilty pleasure show for me. Anybody who knows it. I love it. I know everybody kind of pans it or whatever. I fucking love it. I think it's entertaining and it's great. And I don't know. I'm just, come on, Lily. Come on the show.
There it is.
Just come on the show. Netflix is The Midnight Club canceled after 1 season. Damn, they didn't even get 2.
No.
Shit. The cancellation comes on the heels of executive producers Mike Flanagan and Trevor Macy exiting their overall deal at Netflix. Well, then that makes sense. For a new pact with Amazon Studios. Now, The Midnight Club, which launched October 7th, consisted of 10 episodes, the first of which broke the world record for most jump scares in a TV episode. Well, now I want to watch it just to see.
We'll see.
I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Apple Surface has been renewed for season 2. The first season of the series, which stars Gugu Mbatha Raw and hails from creator Veronica West, debuted back in July.
Yes.
The first season was set in San Francisco, while season 2 will take place in London. Now, per the official logline for season 2, the new episodes will find Sophie rediscovering the unfinished relationships that have haunted her memories as she finds out where she really came from and what made her the flawed person she was. But the mess she was left behind in San Francisco will catch up with her, and Sophie discovers once and for all, you can never outrun your past.
Yes. You haven't watched that one yet, huh? Oh my gosh. So fucking brilliant. It's a great show and she does a phenomenal job in it. You should definitely check it out. Lots of twists and turns. And I'm usually really good at catching them, but they had a couple that I didn't see coming. It's a really, really good show. Yeah, I'm pumped for it.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, guys, now it is time for our guest segment. We got the one and only Mabel Cadena coming on the show to talk about her time on Black Panther, how awesome Ryan Coogler is, and the epic Marvel experience. I'm super excited for everybody to hear this one. I'm just excited when we get Marvel people on the show so you can hear what it's like firsthand.
Yeah, and she's so humble and so appreciative of everything that was involved from the audition process all the way through to now the promotion and having it out there and what her goals are and what she hopes to do for up and comers and for people like herself. It's an awesome interview.
Completely agree, man. Completely agree. Well, here she is. And if you're watching this on YouTube after the episode, you can actually go watch her live interview right here, right now on our YouTube channel. But now it is time for the top 5 segment. So let's jump into it. All right, now it is time for the top 5 segment. And this week it is TV shows that were based on films. Last week it was
Yes.
films that were based on TV shows. So Jason just wanted to flip it around on us. Now, number 5, I kind of cheated. I'm not going to lie because it's definitely not what he was asking for, but it's such a good show. So I wanted to talk about it a little bit. And if you haven't watched it yet, be sure to check it out on Paramount Plus because it's so damn good. And I'm talking about The Offer. It is a television show about the making of a movie. So, I mean, I'm going to round it a little bit, but it's so good. The cast is such an amazing cast. Miles Teller is so underrated. Once the Leos become the Bobbies, Miles is going to become a Leo. Like he's almost to that point to where I feel like he's on top of the world because he's making all these he's like almost Tom Cruise level. I'm just saying, like keep putting out hit after hit. This guy is going to be on top of the world like in the next 10 years. But yeah, this is such an amazing story about the making of The Godfather and how the mob actually gets involved and fucking Frank from Friends is a bad guy and like all of this stuff, man. It's so special. And if you're a filmmaker, you absolutely have to watch it. It's a must see of 2022. But yeah, I mean, you guys know we love film, obviously, aka the podcast, aka Crazy Ant Media. But it was special. It's very special, especially for one of the best films of all time, The Godfather. So that's why The Offer is number 5 on my list.
Oh, fantastic pick. And yeah, you kind of got around it, but it was totally worth it. Cast, of course, by our good buddy John Papsadera, which, in my opinion, Matthew Good steals the whole thing. As awesome as Miles Teller was, as awesome as Dan Fogelman was for uh, 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 of course, Francis Ford Coppola. I just think that Matthew Good as Bob, head of Paramount, there just steals the fucking scene in everything that he's in every part of it. Great pick, man. That was a really good pick. My number 5, there can only be one. I'm of course talking about Highlander. My opinion, those were great films. I really enjoyed Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery in the films, but I thought the TV show was infinitely better than the films. I fucking loved Duncan MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod instead of Connor MacLeod. And I just thought the whole series, it ended up stretching over a bunch of different years. It was there and then went away and then came back. And but if you're a fan of it, of Highlander and, the story, they're immortals. There can be only one. They have to, whenever they come in contact with each other, they have to chop the head off of the other one to survive. And it was just a really brilliant show. And I don't know. I was all into it as a kid. And, because that's when I first started watching the movies. And then I caught the series and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then they did connect finally, Connor MacLeod and Duncan MacLeod. There was lineage there between the movies and the shows and how it all came together. But if you're a fan of the movies, I would highly recommend, if you haven't already, check out the series. It was really fucking good, man.
For sure, for sure. Number 4 for me is actually a recommendation from our forever guest, the one and only Rebecca Kennedy, because she talked about it, I believe, the last time she was on the show. And I'm talking about Chucky. Man, oh man. I mean, Child's Play is one of those all-time cult classic horror films. And when they were turning this into a television show, I was kind of skeptical. I'm not going to lie. But they went back to his original look. They took away like the stitches on the face and all of these different things, made him smooth again. Yeah, it's very interesting. I've just watched the pilot so far. But I think it does homage to the original films and bringing back some of that classic slasher type of mentality that I think a lot of cult followers love about these type of films. So that's why I wanted to put it on my list. Definitely worth a watch, at least for the pilot to check it out. But yeah, number 4 for me, Chucky.
Oh, there you go. My number 4 is kind of paying homage to the late Irene Cara, who passed away just recently. I was just devastated to taken far too young. But my number 4 is Fame. It was a huge movie with Irene Cara. And obviously, if you don't know anything about it, it's about a bunch of students who go to school at the School for the Performing Arts. And it spun off a television show, which the incomparable Debbie Allen starred in and was the main woman in. And you've heard us talk with guests in the past about old Debbie Allen with her stick in that show, that dancing stick, man. You didn't fuck with her character with that stick. It had a lot of unknowns on that show that became huge stars coming off of that show. Lori Singer at the top of my head, can I think of one, but it's just a really good inside look at the struggles of people who go to those performing arts schools trying to be the best of the best and make it. It's not always easy, and it's devastating, and it's hard sometimes, and I felt like the movie and this series did a really good job of highlighting what they have to kind of go through to even get into the school, let alone stay in the school and perform at the level that you had to. Really, really good series, and like I said, a very young Debbie Allen in it. Go check it out. I mean, obviously, my list is filled with 80s shit, but I mean, check it out though. It's fantastic.
For sure, for sure. Number 3 for me goes to one that we were just talking about in the industry news segment that has that just special aura around it. And honestly, like I'm talking about Cobra Kai that's on Netflix right now. Originally was on YouTube Originals, which I don't even think is a thing anymore.
Nope.
But Cobra Kai is special in the sense that I've been saying this since day one, since we started watching it. It's so cheesy, but it's that good type of cheese, especially these later seasons to where it's getting like repetitive but people are still watching it. I think it's special in the sense that you're still intrigued, you know what's going to happen. You know at least how the storyline of the season of the arc is going to progress, but you're still like, "Oh, what's going to happen here?" And I think they're going to do a really good job with 4th season, I think when it's about to come out, where they're actually getting out of Los Angeles and stuff. But I think it's just special because it's very homage to the 80s, which I know you love.
Hell yeah.
But it's something that I think that it's a new life for a franchise that was for your generation, but now can also be for my generation. So it's very special. So that's why number 3 for me is Cobra Kai.
Hell yes. My number 3, I wish desperately was still on the air. We love Hulu. We know that we think they're brilliant and that they have great shows and they've made really a lot of smart decisions. This is one decision that was not smart that I'm still pissed off about. My number 3, High Fidelity, the series based on the movie with John Cusack. This one starred Zoe Kravitz, and it was fucking epic. I loved every second of this series. It took everything that was brilliant about the film and put it in the series and was as brilliant, infinitely as great as the film was, which I was worried at first. I'm like, that's a classic 80s film and it's like so good. Do you want to touch that? But Zoe Kravitz took such pride in it and such personal growth in it to make sure that it was right. And of course, her mom, Lisa Bonet, in the High Fidelity film with John Cusack. So it was like a nice little tribute there too. If you can find this, if it's still on Hulu, and I'm not even sure if it is, but if you can find it, and even if you weren't a fan of the film, I think you'll really, really, if you like music and you like, current times and you're a fan of Zoe Kravitz and just in general, I think you're going to love this fucking series. High Fidelity, Hulu. I hate that you canceled it. I would have loved to have seen more seasons from it. If you can find it, check it out. I think you'll be really happy that you do. High Fidelity.
To be honest, I was a fan of the TV show and did not like the film. So yeah, I mean, it's really good. I think just their interpretation of the characters, I think, was very well done. So definitely check out that one. Number 2 for me goes to Bates Motel. Of course, a spinoff of the one and only, or it's like a prequel to the one and only Psycho, aka Alfred Hitchcock. I mean, come on now, black and white. Classic. But I mean, just Freddie Highmore in that character. Like, I mean, you see how good of an actor he is because I get introduced to Freddie as kid from August Rush, and just from that to his teenage years to basically playing this prepubescent like psycho killer with his mom and like just that whole dynamic, and then fucking Max Thurdo there was the brother who's now on Fire Country, definitely bulked up a little bit. But this is such a good show, and the storyline is basically a family trying to figure it all out and do what they can do. Is it perfect? No, but no family is perfect. Especially not fucking crazy ass families. But I really enjoyed it. If you can find this one now, it's definitely worth the watch. Bates Motel.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean the cast, like you said, I mean, fuck, Freddie Highmore is awesome, but then you throw in Max Terrio and mom, crazy ass mom that the whole thing is Vera Farmiga,
Yeah.
which is fucking phenomenal. I mean, so it's definitely worth the watch if you guys haven't checked it out. My number two, it had to be on the list, you guys. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. Sarah Michelle Gellar, our friend Danny Strong, and just numerous other people on the show, of course, obviously. I am talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which, in my opinion, infinitely better than the film with Christy Swanson and Luke Perry. Infinitely better. I thought the series grabbed it and captured it right and ran with it, did everything solid. I can't say enough about it. You guys know it. You love it. It's whether you've seen the show or not, you know all about it because it's that entrenched in pop culture. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. If you haven't checked it out, you most definitely should. It's a phenomenal show. It's dramatic, it's comedic, it's suspenseful, it's all different kinds of things. And the cast that come in and out of that show, along with the regulars, are fucking phenomenal. And I think that you would love this show. Give it a chance. Watch all of the seasons. You'll be so glad that you did. It's a brilliant fucking show. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I mean, I still go back and watch it sometimes.
For sure. Number one for me goes to Mighty Duck Game Changers. This is by far, I think, in my opinion, the best television show that is based off of a movie franchise and bringing the originals back, and Lauren Graham, of course, and the kids. I feel like everything about it is just so spot on and nice to see that. I don't even what have we been calling them? They're not reimaginings, they're not retellings, they're continuations basically of the original stories, which make the films even more special. And I think what they're doing here on Disney Plus is like going like so well. So that's why it's on my list as number one, Mighty Duck Game Changers.
Hell yeah. It's one of my all-time favorite movie franchises as a kid. Great memories. I guess not kid.
I was about to say as a
young
kid,
man in my 20s. But yeah, I mean, I loved the movie franchise, and I do have a lot of great memories of seeing it with people that were very close to me at the time, and just it was great. So when they announced that this was coming back, I was all in. I think this is so successful, and I think that people got behind doing this idea because of the success of your number three and my number one, Cobra Kai. They saw that you can have a continuation of a beloved 80s thing, and if you do it properly, it can work really, really well.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. Lauren Graham was the perfect choice for it. They are doing it well with sprinkling in originals into it. You're seeing them come back, and so I'm just going to jump into mine, Cobra Kai, like you discussed. I think the reason that both these shows work is because they do what you're supposed to do. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're taking everything that worked from those original beloved 80s films and keeping it and just moving forward with the progression of here's where we are now in the modern times and where these characters are. And that works. You get the nostalgia from the 80s. So you do attract my age group and my audience and demographic. And then you get the current times where you're able to bring in the current group and demographic and have that, I think that's why those are both so successful, and they wholeheartedly both are great number one picks.
Agreed.
Cobra Kai and Mighty Ducks, they just work. If you're a fan of the 80s, or even if you're not, but have nostalgic feelings towards the 80s, check out these two shows. You're going to fucking love them. I guarantee you.
For sure. And we want to know, what is your number one TV show based on a film? Be sure to comment below in the YouTube section or add us on Twitter, Jayla Fantastic and Crazy Ant Guy 1970. We want to know. We love the fan interaction.
Yes.
Well, heading over to the box office recap, like we've told you about before, Black Panther still reigning high with Wakanda Forever sitting at 45.9 million. Strange World came in at number 2 with 11.9. Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery for that 1 week only, came in at number 3 with 9.4 million. Devotion came in at number 6. That's the aviation one. And The Menu came in at number 5 with 5.2. I want to see that one too. There's a few good movies out, or a few movies out right now that I want to see.
Yeah, and the one that did really extremely well, but it was only limited release, but had a massive per screen total was The Fabelmans, the Steven Spielberg, autobiography film or whatever. So I can't wait to see that one. Now it's opening up into mass screen screens as well. So I'm excited for that one.
For sure, for sure. Movies that are coming out this weekend: Violent Night, Emancipation in select theaters, Savage Salvation, Safe Neighborhood, and Spoiler Alert. Some of those in select theaters near you. Some of those are like 1 week only, and then they'll hit streamers. And
Yep.
you got to keep an eye on all of them. Movies you can still go see: Black Adam, The Fablemans, Bones and All, and Ticket to Paradise and Homecoming.
Yeah.
IMDb Pro's top trending segment. Of course, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is still number 1 on the movies. I hear a lot of people talking about this television show, and I haven't given it a watch yet, but I definitely want to.
Me too.
And I'm talking about Wednesday, the continuation or the adaptation of the Addams Family. A lot of fucking people are talking about it. It's like an underground sleeper that is just taking Netflix by storm. So kudos to them. I think Netflix is continuing putting out good television content, and that's what they need to focus on because their movies are not that great.
Yeah, Ben Affleck will tell you.
Yeah, they just need to keep focusing on movies, man. I mean, leave the movies. They need to keep focused on television. Leave the movies to all of the other studios. They've been doing it for over 100 years. You are doing so well in the television game, and you're making so much money from that. Just leave it at that. I'm just saying. And the top trending star is Gina Ortega, of course, from Wednesday. So yeah, man, a lot of good stuff happening. So it's everywhere, guys. It's everywhere. But we got to thank our guest one more time, Mabel Cadena, for coming on the show. Be sure to
Yes.
follow her on social media, Instagram and Twitter. She's more active on Instagram. Be sure to follow the company and podcast on social media at Crazy Ant Media and at IdCap Podcast. You can follow us both personally on social media. Myself at JLoFantastic and
At Crazy Ant Guy 1970.
That's right. And you guys know you can subscribe to this podcast anywhere you listen to your podcast: Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Stitcher, and so much more. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, we appreciate it. Be sure to hit that like button on the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell for all the latest and greatest notifications coming out of Crazy Ant Media.
Yes.
And be sure to visit our website, www.crazyantmedia.com, where you can start rocking the latest and greatest Crazy Ant Media gear. We got shirts, we got hats, we got anything you need for this holiday season. So, man, oh man, I think for both of us, it's probably Bob Iger. That's what it is. We're so excited. We're so happy.
Welcome back, sir.
So excited. I'm pumped. He's 71 years old, acting like he's a prime 50 and just killing it, man. I mean, this guy is on top of the world. Stock fucking rising. And definitely, I did see with talking more about it. Big acquisition is not in the plan. He's not going to buy up Sony's pictures. He's not going to go after a video game place. That is not part of it. He is staying in-house and trying to figure this shit out. And I think that is very key and very vital, because I feel like if you did a big acquisition like that, that's just going to be sweeping the other stuff under the rug, which would be a very Bob Chapek move. But this is the right Bob. So.
It is the right Bob. And now the question is we know he's not focused on that, but can he stave off now? That's going to be the question, because Apple apparently is interested in acquiring Disney.
I did see him say that he's not going to let that happen.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah. So, but he is tight with Tim Cook there, so I don't know. I hope not. I mean, the Mouse House is the Mouse House. You don't want it like just acquired by anybody else.
No.
I just, now that Steve Jobs is gone, I think if Steve Jobs was still alive and it was an Iger Jobs thing, like they had talked about, I think maybe it would have been successful and would have been fun. But since that's not possible, I just don't think you fucking touch that. You don't do it. I agree with you. I'm pumped that he's back, obviously, because we've been fucking hating on Chapek forever. So yay, Disney. Good job. Good job. Now, like I said, just if we can get rid of Zaslav. Why? Because as we were talking about, they're still fucking things up. He made a good decision with James Gunn and Safran, but they still don't know. Well, let's just throw DC somewhere else. Like, what? If you're going to connect that universe, why the fuck would you have to make people go to 85 different streamers to find the fucking connected universe? Just put it all in
exactly.
One place.
I mean, Apple should just buy Warner Brothers.
Yeah, there you go. If they want a studio.
Yeah, exactly.
Zaslav wants to fucking sell it off, so I mean, you might as well, right?
I'm just saying. Hey. If Apple's not going to buy Netflix, it needs to buy Warner Brothers. Just saying. I'm just saying.
Save it.
So good, man. So good. A great show. But you guys know we love the one, the only
Oprah.
Alrighty, peeps. Thank you so much for catching us on another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. We appreciate all of you. Have a great rest of your weekend. We will see you back here next week.
And go blue.